The end of the school year is supposed to be a happy time. Kids looking forward to summer break and vacations.
But now another school shooting sure to be on the minds of parents and kids across the country. So how do we have these conversations? How do we handle another heartbreaking tragedy? Joining us now this morning is Lou Zeidner from mHealth Fairview. He's the System Director for Clinical Triage and Transition Services, along with being a psychologist. And Lou, years ago when we would talk about these, we would discuss whether or not parents should share this information with their kids. Should you let your kids watch coverage? That was the discussion in the Columbine years. I think we're past that, aren't we? Kids know about it, and they need to know about it.
Sure. I think we're all hearing about things very quickly. We're not waiting for the 5:30 news or the 6 o'clock news. So I think it is important that we understand what our kids are thinking about and have a response.
And when we have a response to that, I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind is what our kids want to know is, am I safe?
Yeah.
And where do you start this conversation?
So I think first thing is to monitor your own response. I think oftentimes we jump to what are we going to do for our kids, and we don't pay attention to how we're feeling. And I think if we're not managing our own feelings and understanding those, it's very hard to manage someone else's. I think the second is, depending on the age of the child, to let them talk. We don't need to have the answers. We don't need to ask all the questions. Let them process some of how they're feeling, what they're seeing, what they're understanding, and let them talk. I think those are two important first steps.
Yeah, it's still hard to answer that question, right? The question that Heather asked, if when your kid asks you if they're safe, and as a parent you feel, I don't know. You used to feel like you could say, well, I mean, you could be very logical about this, right? And say the odds are this and that, but the truth is you really don't know.
We don't know. We don't have any guarantees, and the risks are all around us. I think what we can do is talk about what we're doing today, what the school systems are doing to keep the school buildings safe, what we're doing to keep our children safe. All of those are things that we're doing, and then the outcome goes from there.
Lou, I have a 6 and an 8-year-old in second grade, same age as these kids down in Texas. They did not watch the news last night. We were outside playing at the park. I think probably like a lot of families were yesterday. For that age group, is this something that we bring up at breakfast before they go to school and before they hear about it from other people? Do you wait and have a longer conversation? In that younger group, what do you suggest?
I think know your child first and foremost, and know something about how they're likely to respond if they hear about it at school. And it might be appropriate to have a brief conversation, not necessarily an extensive conversation, to say, there was something that horrible that happened yesterday, and you may hear about that at school, but keep it brief. We don't need to process the whole event, all of the feelings in that one breakfast conversation.
Lou Zeidner from mHealth Fairview. It's tough conversations happening today, and tough conversations happening again. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. Have a good day.